Hi everyone, I'm here with Wray again, and we're going to go over some of the comments, and we're just going to chat about stuff that's been going on and what he's doing. I have a couple questions I'd like to ask as well. So, alright, we'll get started.
What's up, everybody?
So yeah, Michael, how have you been? How have you been doing since our last talk?
Doing good. Good. I'm trying to get some projects moving in my horizon here, so
Okay.
those things are actually starting to come to fruition. Food trucks and a consulting gig with a new restaurant opening, so that's always
So actually, Robert is also in talks with Robert Hess, another Hell's Kitchen contestant from season 5 and 6. So they may be doing some work together in the future.
Yeah, we're working on a project as we speak right now.
All right, awesome.
Yeah. I think he's got he knows what he's doing. I think we're gonna have a very successful partnership.
Alrighty, awesome. So, what are things that Michael's been out of the radar for many years. We haven't really known anything about him. I was the first person to get in contact with him to interview him and kind of see where he's at. So if you know from the last video, he went through a lot of stuff in his life, and now he's in a position in life where he's very stable, and he's about to get married, and he has a lot of things that are really good going on. So since then, he's been able to grow his Instagram through the last video, and he's been able to get in contact with a lot of fans.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah, so why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, ever since that interview, this whole social media thing is absolutely new to me. You know, this was, again, my first couple months, and man, it blows me away that people contact me and are like, you're inspirational, or they can relate to what I'm saying, and I'm just like, oh my God. I try to answer everybody because it's the most honorific feeling that
yeah.
I don't know, I really want to I always want to give the impression that I was worthy of winning Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
So I mean, when I don't know, I have worked so hard at trying to maintain being on point in the kitchen, and it's just to hear somebody be or defend me or stick up for me, it just it blows my mind away. I think it's seriously one of the most wonderful feelings in the world.
So my question is, before our interview, how did you feel like you had fans that were still looking for you? How did you feel about your Hell's Kitchen
before
status?
You reached out to me? Honestly, I wouldn't even put Hell's Kitchen on my resume. It would be this tiny little blurb at the end of it. I never wanted to feel like I was using Hell's Kitchen to get myself anywhere in life, and it's I should have had the opposite. I should have been feeling I was on this show, I won this amazing show. I didn't think anybody honestly gave 2 cents about me.
Yeah.
I'll be very honest with you. I figured that I was on a show, and the show was 2005 when I won, and that's 2018 right now, and so I've changed a lot. I'm 41 years old now, and it's it seems now Hell's Kitchen means so much more to me than it actually even did then, Because honestly, also, I mean, come on, I feel like I've wasted my opportunity Hell's Kitchen gave me. Might not have wasted it on purpose. I wasn't I'm going to screw this off, but my one times to shine and really capitalize upon this, I was focused on, staying, not being, dope sick, and I was concentrated on my drugs, and I was concentrated on grieving, and now it's this incredible community and fan base that have come together. It's it's very inspiring. It really pushes me to want to get to put myself out there and be hey, if I can inspire or help or answer questions or do anything, I want to be available to people. I had no idea I would have been like this a long time ago. It's fun.
Get real quick, make this recording. Okay, it is. So I've been able to connect Michael with Barrett Byers from season 11 and Robert Hess. How are some of your experiences just getting more connected with some people in the Hell's Kitchen community?
Oh, let me tell you, it blows my mind away to hear the ingenuity and the intelligence that these guys use to capitalize upon this platform that they have. Yeah. I look at them and they're oh man, you're the OG winner, you're the first winner, this and that. I'm what are you guys talking about? I am so poor right now. I barely can afford anything. My car payment, everything in life is such a struggle. I mean, it's a happy struggle. Yeah. I mean, I've had much worse struggle, but I mean, these guys are not worrying so much about paying their bills than they are about just kicking ass at work, and that's I want to be like that, So being able to get a hold of these guys and having people teach me this aspect has been really fun. Like seriously, and they all have like, you have to be a really amazing person in some aspect to be on Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Win, lose, first place, get kicked off very first, like, and so I meet up with these guys, and each one of them like, okay, so that's why they're on Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, Especially Robert. Robert has his shit together as a chef. Like, he definitely has something that has a lot to teach. Like, and I really hope that I can learn his ways. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing.
I do think Robert has been one of the more popular and successful Hell's Kitchen contestants to date. So,
and I've never really watched any of the other episodes.
Yeah.
I've always been like really kind of standoffish because, like I said, I have had a lot of shame for the last 10 years over like, you were on Hell's Kitchen, where are you at? Oh, I'm like living under the Burbank underpass off the 5, eating other people's food that I get out of the trash at the food court, and oh, what else am I doing? Oh, I abuse drugs, like I love doing that. And so it was like, you have a lot of shame, I guess, a lot of guilt, not winner's guilt, but just like, I've been given this amazing opportunity, and here I am under the bridge wasting it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like feeling bad for myself. So, I mean, it's taught me to be like, oh, well, this is actually a really cool thing,
Yeah.
And like also, I mean, I give all the respect and all the props to Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to imagine, but he's been so inspirational, like looking at the way that he dealt with being on Hell's Kitchen, his like level of what he expects out of all of us as chefs, and just his level of perfection is just, it's so inspirational to so many people, and it's like, and they're not even fans of mine. Most people that reach out to me are fans of Hell's Kitchen and fans of Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
I'm associated with that. Like, it's not, I'm not the one that's popular here by far. I mean, it's the TV show, and it's Gordon, because he's pretty amazing as a chef and as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
I give them all the respect. I'm just kind of like riding on the waves of all that. Okay, you know what I mean?
So it's kind of cool because it kind of brings me into the first comment that I want to read. It's by Not So Silent Majority, and it's a really cool comment. It's kind of lengthy, but I'll read the first couple parts of it. It says, "The worst thing in life is wasted talent." It says, "A great video. Michael still lights up when he talks about cooking and being a chef. It's unfortunate that he hit some serious rough spots in life. Losing a child, divorce, and drug addiction are all hard things to deal with." So now, would you just want to comment to this person that has said this very lengthy comment? It'll take me a couple minutes to read.
No, I really appreciate what they have to say. I love that they really got a vibe of what I was trying to show in the video.
Yeah.
Really, really, and I appreciate these kinds of comments. I mean, they keep me from not being like, I wasted my life. Like, they keep me believing that, like, this is something special, I'm going to keep rolling with it. I mean, really, I would love, my goal is to be able to have a food truck so I could go find this person and be like, hey, come to my food truck, I'm going to actually come take care of you.
Yeah.
You do these amazing things about me, and, I'm glad that they were able to, to kind of grasp what I was trying to say. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So he says something really cool. He says, "I'm gonna look into Michael. Good luck to Michael. You have a huge fan base still rooting for you." So before the first video we posted of Michael, me or Michael didn't know how it was gonna go. If it was gonna get no views, if it was a flop, or if it was gonna be really successful. So now, as I'm talking to you, the video has been seen by 6,700 people,
Which is a ton of people, man.
Yeah.
6,000 people is nuts.
and over 600 hours watched on that 24-minute video. So people are actually sitting down and watching this thing, which neither of us really, we didn't know what to expect really out of it. So that's been something that's truly amazing.
Oh, the other thing we want to address in this video is my looks. I get a lot of comments on looking.
Oh yeah, Michael looks
looking
different.
sick, looking different, like, part of what happened to my body is I really wrecked my body, and I lost a lot of weight that I'm really trying hard to gain back right now. And like, this was 41 years old, and life has taken a toll on me, and but I'm not sick. I'm actually on the mend as we speak. It's so hard for a chef to gain weight. So once you lose some weight, I swear I put out way more energy and way more calories I burn than what I take in.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm trying. I really am, guys.
So we'll look through a couple more. Well, the cool thing about this is a lot of people are actually going to follow Michael on Instagram. So it's been cool for him to connect with some of his fans. So we'll look through. Yep, another one. He said he doesn't look very good. So Michael's good and healthy, guys.
But I know it might not be the most attractive chef in the world. That's why I try to work very hard at having excellent tasting food.
Yep. So it says, great interview. This is my professional YouTube commenter. I don't know who this person is. Great interview. Michael Wray is still one of the most original characters of Hell's Kitchen. If you go back and watch the first season, Michael was the only one that seemed to get it right off the bat. All the more impressive because it was the first season of the show. The restaurant he designed in the season 1 finale was absolutely beautiful. He came across as quiet and talented.
So
what do you got to say about that?
I really appreciate that. Is this professional YouTube commenter?
Yep.
Oh, well, I really appreciate that. And yeah, I felt like a lot of people from the beginning you should catch on really fast that the one phrase that's going to get you through a lot of Hell's Kitchen is yes and chef.
Yep.
You suck. Yes, chef. I'm on it. Yes, chef.
So if I read on the comment, it says, but I remember only Jessica seemed to catch on that Michael is actually quite ruthless. In a weird way, Michael reminds me of Puck from Real World San Francisco in 1993. So I think this person is referring to Wolfgang Puck?
No.
No?
He's not. I know who she's talking about. No, she's talking about I believe Puck was a character off of Real World or something.
Oh, okay.
The MTV series.
Yeah, I never looked into the show.
On the first season. That's cool though.
So both are completely original reality TV characters that broke the mold. So Michael is different, definitely.
I like to feel like I said, I haven't watched a lot of the other Hell's Kitchens, but I feel like there are molded chefs that I try not to be like. I don't wear clogs. If I wear a chef jacket, I usually wear a dishwasher jacket. Pronouncing yourself as a chef and trying to dress the type, to me, the only thing that makes you a chef is how hard you worked that day before or that day. We only call ourselves chefs because we just kicked ass the day before and we know that we did. I don't know. To me, it's just one of those worlds that your actions speak louder than anything else.
Yeah.
And we have to pay our dues as a chef. You have to put in the time. You can go to school. You could be amazing. You can make amazing food and take amazing pictures of the food. But that doesn't really, that's not our sweat equity that we use in opening restaurants. There's just a ton of work that goes into being a chef. It's you can't, like I said before, you can't be a junkie and you can't love drugs and be a chef, because to be a chef, you gotta love food, you gotta love hard work, you gotta love sacrifice, you have to love pain, fire, flames, cussing, chaos. That's all got to be a passion of yours. And you take all that energy in during the middle of service, and then you channel it and funnel it, and you just man, you start putting out the tickets. It's just the best.
So when we look at the restaurant industry today, we see that a lot of chefs are running to drugs to kind of just keep them moving forward.
We always have.
Yeah.
We've always used drugs to keep us moving forward. Part of the problem is now there's so much more drugs that chefs are getting into.
Yeah.
And it's too bad because it's so debilitating to anybody into any industry to start having an addiction.
Yeah.
And I've walked out of more than one job since I made the choice of trying to get sober, because there are people in the back, doing lines of cocaine in the back of the prep kitchen. It's this ain't the 80s anymore. There's just, in this day and age, if you're gonna be you just need to smoke some weed. If you're at work, you feel like you need to do something, go in the back and use some of your medical marijuana and whatever you got to do. There's no need for any of that nonsense anymore in the kitchen. They're just doing that.
Alrighty, so we'll move on to the next question. It says, my only question for Michael would be, what was his mindset going into a brand new reality TV show at a time when the reality TV really began to take over television as a whole?
So when I first got onto Hell's Kitchen that first day, so what happened was they sequestered us for about a week before they started filming, right?
Yeah.
So everybody was in their own hotel room, alone from everybody. You can't use the phone, you can't reach out. Really, this is when kind of the show's starting, and I remember. So you guys today we're going to start filming. It's going to be our first day. They put blindfolds on all of us.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and we're being led through all this room, sit here for 5 minutes while you're blindfolded. And I can remember them taking out the blindfolds and just being like, okay, here it goes, and just like, it was like being on a roller coaster right when you do that first jump, and all of a sudden it's just like, you know, it's out of your hands, you just let go, and just like, it was like, there was almost an expectation from the production staff and from Gordon that there was like this undertone on how they presented stuff to us and sort of how we should act. And I felt like the people who had a lot of perception and picked up on this were like, we're going to go far. You know, and the people who kind of didn't get it, obviously were going to be ran over in the very beginning. And that happened.
Now, take us through the casting process. When you were cast out in Hell's Kitchen, some other people that I've reached out to said that they were, like you said, in hotels, very, very nice hotels, kind of just taken care of. There's a guard out the door so they can't even walk outside. They're on contract, non-disclosure, talking about nothing. They don't meet the other contestants, so they're all on site and they're all brought in separately, different planes.
That's how it was for us.
Everything.
You know, everybody was like blindfolded. I think it's one of the reasons they blindfolded. But the casting process was so like there are so many callbacks, and so you know you go through the interview and like there's a whole process in the beginning where they probably go through thousands and thousands of people, and this will be like your first callback. And I remember like having that part of my interviews and everything seemed to go really good, and getting that phone call saying, so we want to meet with you one more time. You know, and they whittled it down. I remember they had whittled it down to like 100 people.
Yeah.
They brought us all into this hotel. They had 50 people in the daytime, or in the AM one, and 50 in the afternoon. And like you literally, it was like those questions you take in school, like the multiple choice with the little bubbles. And it was like psychology tests. We did they did drug screens on everybody. There was like a screen from the doctor to make sure our general health was okay. Like, but it was complete. I feel like they were getting a complete psychological makeup on each contestant in order to know how to like press their buttons better. Or I mean, I didn't feel like a lot of these tests were to eliminate us. Like you could answer the right or wrong question. I felt like they were to like for them to get a better understanding of like the kind of people that we were, you know. And it was very like it was very surreal, like going through that process and like going through the next stage, and like people dropping back. You know, and I remember I think I was working in West Hollywood. I got that final phone call that was like, you're going to be on this show. And it was just like, okay, what did I get myself into here? I mean, I was excited, but I'm a shy person, you know, and I was kind of like, being on Hell's Kitchen wasn't exactly my idea. It was kind of like, you know, it was kind of like a destiny kind of put me in that direction. And so, you know, and the bottom line, any opportunity to have been able to get next to Gordon Ramsay, have Gordon Ramsay know my name or anything to do with Gordon Ramsay was like worth it, because you know I had known of him before, and you know I have a lot of affinity for Marco Pierre White, and you know I just wanted to be part of that world. And so to have been able to get to know him the little bit that I did, like, you know, I'm sure he probably doesn't even remember me. I mean, he might remember all the winners or everything, you know, but I'm definitely not a thought of Gordon Ramsay, I can tell you that. You know, I'm sure they really wanted their contestants to go on and like win Hell's Kitchen and go off to be like the world's best chef, you know, and like I feel like I've become the world's best chef in my own world. You know, I'm so happy with what I've turned out to be. You know, my attitude and my and how happy in life I've turned out to be. I feel like I've been blessed that way. You know,
that's awesome. So that's one. Someone said, looks like he started cooking the pipe.
Yeah. No opiates for my drug of choice. No pipe cooking over here.
What did you do? Was it just pain pills?
No, so I know there was a couple of questions about my sobriety and drug use and whatnot, and when I have a scoliosis. I've got a pretty bad form of scoliosis.
Why don't you talk about the back surgery and how you kind of got...
When I was 18, I had a Harrington rods put in my back, and I had my thoracic spine fused, about this much of my spine. And about 3 weeks after my surgery, I actually had an overdose on morphine. You know, unintentional, but I overdosed and I actually bent some rods and snapped 2 screws in my spine.
Oh, wow.
And caused some damage. And so they had to wait for that to heal before they could do the surgery again. But ever since then, I was taking pain medication, going to pain management, you know, all the way through Hell's Kitchen. I mean, and so when I was doing drugs and abusing opiates, it was always pain medication, and I was always going through my doctors. At one point, I was going to a doctor a week, doctor shopping, of course. I mean, all of us good ex-junkies have always done that. But it was, you know, and I was using IV drugs my last, like, close to 10 years. And, you know, there are so many different ways to come about your sobriety in life. and abstinence was not the way for me. When I talk about sobriety, I would love to clarify this. Sobriety to me, in my definition to my world, is that I am no longer interacting, abusing, touching, or messing with opiate medication in any way. There's always concerns of maybe using alcohol or marijuana will sort of break down your barriers, and you'll be like, oh, screw it, I'm just going to go back to using. Yeah, I mean, hey, everybody has to come to, I mean, bottom line, if I didn't stop using opiates and I've eaten my drugs, I was going to die. I mean, every time you do that, you're gambling just a little bit.
Yeah.
And when complete abstinence is not working, like cutting everything out of your life might work for a little bit, and then you just you go back to using, and all that hard work is down the drain. And so I've managed and felt that using I live in California here, so I utilized our laws in using medical marijuana legally, and I enjoy drinking some of the darker beers for flavor, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, it's definitely, and I don't suggest other people do what I do as far as my sobriety goes, but just, I truly believe that you have to figure out a way to get off the drugs that are killing your life, you know what I mean?
So do you feel like you're not really like, you're not like an alcoholic or heavy, you're not really like doing those crazy things?
Well, because a lot of people, you're always told as recovering addicts that, like, listen, you're recovering from this drug, you can't do any drugs because it's going to weaken your resolve of not doing this drug.
That doesn't make sense in most cases too.
But the statistics and everything tells you, people who go through NA, it really works for some people, but it works for a little bit, and then they relapse and you go right back. Like, I'm in a situation like, if I'm in that situation where life has put me down and you're like, oh fuck it, I'm just going to use, well, oh fuck it, I'm just going to smoke a bowl, and you're like, not that it almost looks like I've replaced one drug for another, and I guess in a sense I would like to be truly honest. I'm not saying what I do, but it works for me, it's right for me. I have not a relapse in 6 years, and I currently take Suboxone. I have permanently scarred my brain and my body, and I will never be able to not take opiates until the day I die. It's really sad.
So that medication, what it does is it helps you not to be like the withdrawal.
Yeah, it helps me with my withdrawals, and at the same time, Suboxone acts as an opiate blocker. So if I was to try to IV different drugs or take drugs, it would stop it, and it would actually get me sick if I tried to inject something. And it's a medication that works awesome for me. That's another thing with abstinence and with opiates. Like, people, they try to get off opiates too fast.
Yeah.
Go on to Suboxone, go into something long term, take your time getting off the drugs.
Like, you kill yourself trying to go cold turkey.
You need to take your time. Like,
is that a pain medication?
It is an opiate. It is like, it's a synthetic medication that's a slow acting opiate that works on a different opiate receptor than like heroin or Vicodin.
Yeah.
But it's still like, if I don't take my medication, I still get sick. Like, I still have to deal with these issues every day.
You still deal with the pain from the scoliosis,
absolutely,
and all that stuff.
But it's worth it. The pain is nothing compared to the pain of abuse. What it does to your life. And like, they are making an implant for my medication, Suboxone, which if anybody is having any problem out there with opiates, you feel like your life is just you're done with it all. Talk to your doctor. Get on to Suboxone. It changed my life. Like, it was just night and day, And so, like, I also want to get the impression that I've been able to kick drugs because I still take this medication from my doctor, and I have to go to my pharmacist every week. I'm not given 30 days worth of medication.
Yeah.
Like, I still live my life as like a recovering addict. It's still, my fiance holds on to my medication. I'm not allowed to touch it, hold it. If I do, I will go back to abusing it in a heartbeat, As far as having my life under control, I feel like it's the best it's ever been, but it's definitely not perfect.
Yeah.
I'm growing, I'm definitely growing. But there's so much hope. I mean, it's not part of my life anymore. I don't wake up going like, oh, I gotta get drugs, I gotta get not sick, life's too hard, where's my hustle, now it's wake up and go to work.
Yeah. That's good that through the course of time, as I'm working with Michael and he has a lot of cool things happening, he's gonna be surrounded by some really cool people to where I just feel maybe an impression it's gonna be It's gonna take your mind off of maybe looking back at the past and the things that you used to do, because now we're looking in the future.
It is. That's a great point, because just recently on June 13th was my six years like without taking my opiates anymore.
Awesome.
And I completely forgot the day. It wasn't even a concern of mine. Like, you know, it's a great thought. Is that like the other thing about some of these like NA and stuff is that they don't ever let you. They always say like, oh, you don't ever want to forget you're an addict, but sometimes you don't want to. You just don't want to be living that life. If you're like beating your drugs, you shouldn't be sitting there talking about it every week. Like, you're a drug, I'm an addict. You know, I have to like, you know, pay respect to this. It's a real disease, you know.
Yeah.
But just, you know, sometimes it's awesome feeling to like that drug abuse or your past isn't like something that's really, you know, affecting my thinking now.
Yeah.
I love that feeling.
It's awesome. It's really cool. So we'll just keep scrolling through and just chatting, and I'm gonna think of some more stuff. The original characters. So we got some really cool comments. People saying all the best to Michael. A lot of people asking what happened to him, which I feel like people watch season 1, then they look at the current Michael and don't realize that there's like a 13-year gap between all those episodes. So a lot can happen in that many years.
A lot has happened in those many years, like the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, you know. But I am starting to GoFundMe. I am going to ask people for help. You know, I want another chance to prove that, you know, I'm Hell's Kitchen material. I want another chance to give people an opportunity to come and taste my food, you know. Like, I really want, my goal, like, what my goal would be is to get this GoFundMe going, get my food truck going, and then go on a tour from, you know, West Coast to East Coast, and just like hit up
All the fans.
Yeah, you know, the fans of Hell's Kitchen. Like, anybody who wants to try my food, this is where I'm going to be. You know, thank you for helping me get here, and you know, I think I really want to reach out that way. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, so that'll be awesome, and I'm sure we'll want to help Michael. That would be really cool. So someone's asking, and I have a couple more questions in mind. We'll go into this one. By Lionheart 810. I always wondered if Hell's Kitchen was scripted, especially the challenges where it was always a tie down to just that last dish to decide. Do you feel that it was scripted, or was it actually just how the challenges ended up working themselves out?
I think that it's deeper than that. I don't think it's like scripted. I think that these producers are like on a deep psychological level where they know like who they're putting up with, like who they're putting up against, who, what their strengths and challenges are. Like, I don't feel like it's scripted in a sense that like the contestants are being like led through a certain way, but I think in the background that I think their producers know what's going to happen just from experience, and I think that there are so many cameras and so many angles that they just like capitalize upon any situation that comes up during, you know, and then they go back and edit. But you know, as far as like the biggest things I would be looking for would be like days out of order from when they filmed them, and I can remember on my season at least, like it was all in order. They weren't really like monkeying around. Yeah, I would have to say it's a pretty consistent like view and like representation of what's happening.
So another comment, it's by Jules. Jules says, how odd he looks exactly the same, yet extremely different than he did on season 1, 2005. Another one said, I loved Michael Wray. This is from Yassine, French. I loved Michael Wray so much on his season of Hell's Kitchen. He was such an incredible, amazing chef, and he was such a cool, down-to-earth guy who just seemed to be a really nice guy, and I feel sorry for him now. I feel sorry for him how his life has turned out, and I hope he eventually gets back on track. So that's a nice comment. So what do you got to say to that?
You know, I hear that about, you know, they feel sorry for how my life has turned out, you know, and like I just refuse to see it that way. Like all these, you know, all the crappy things that have happened have just turned me into an awesome, like, have given me a great perspective in life. Really, like, you know, you can either take all the crappy things life hands you and mope about it, and it's such a cliche saying this stuff. It truly is. You know what I mean? Or you could you can try to find the positive in it. You know what I mean? You can try to see that maybe my life sucked for this little bit only because it's putting me into this position I'm in now. You know what I mean? Only because now I'll be able to strive and go so much further than I would then. Like when I won Hell's Kitchen and stuff, I didn't know shit that I know. Knowing what I know now, knowing what I know then, it would have been all faking it till I made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I just wasn't ready. I had all like the pomp, I had all that, the ego a chef could have. But now knowing like, now when I take on a consulting gig or I want to go into business for myself, it's because I absolutely 100% know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be successful, and I know what the pitfalls are, and I know what the benefits are to doing this or doing that, and having all this experience now as like, I can't wait to be able to like use this experience for myself, you know. I couldn't tell you if I'd be successful or not, but I could tell you that my life would have gotten completely out of control.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My drug addiction was too much of a monster. If I would have had any kind of success, any kind of real money, I would have been dead, bottom line, dead. You know, like I needed to go on this journey in life in order to appreciate where I am now.
Yeah.
I mean, I swear to you, Miles, my only one regret in life is this thing with Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Is having been given this fucking amazing opportunity. Like I really feel like Gordon and Hell's Kitchen are like disappointed with me. Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm the first winner. I needed to be like, look, this is our winner and look what he went on to do. You know what I mean? And like, oh, look at our first winner. He went on to have some problems in life. You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, my regret is that, you know, people were happy and rooted for me and I didn't follow through. I'm really sorry, guys. But it's gonna happen. I promise you that.
So I was watching Hell's Kitchen season 6, the ending finale. I don't know if you remember this, but you were at that after party when Dave Levy, the season 6 winner, won. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that?
No.
Not at all?
Not at all. There's actually some interviews I think that went out on the TV Guide. I don't know, something that I think they pulled off the air because I looked that bad. Hell's Kitchen actually came and got me out of rehab. I went into rehab one of my rehabs, like pretty close after first Hell's Kitchen. And I remember they came and picked me up. I was in rehab looking like even ghosted out more than I am now. And it was bad. Like it was embarrassing.
I know you were a guest judge for...
Yeah, with Rock.
Yeah, for Rock.
Yeah, dude, Rock was awesome. Rock is definitely Hell's Kitchen. Yeah. Like, I want to be like Rock.
He's one of the OG winners too. Like the first 5 people to win, they're it, man.
I had a lot of respect for Rock. I got to hang out with him for a little bit. And,
yep.
You know, and we actually hooked up on Instagram recently. So
oh, good.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's awesome. So one thing I just want to take you guys through is just a timeline. Michael got the surgery at 18. At 27, right? You were on Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, 27.
So he's dealing with these problems with his back. Just kind of struggling with the pain medicine because your pain was never actually really controlled.
Yeah, it was always in pain, but like I learned now that like just live with the pain.
So now all that pain that he's had his whole life, he just lives with it now. So just like take you through like just even my own mindset and how I think and view Michael. Like you see him on the show, and he's just dealing with this like somewhat battle, like just teeter-tottering over the edge. Like he really doesn't want to fall into this lifestyle. He really wants to succeed in what he's doing, but he's also like many of us we're young, we don't really know what to do. So we're just kind of learning and just going through like these patterns and just we're going through life. So he wins Hell's Kitchen, he gets his status, and he wins all this money. And my question for you is, do you think that the money multiplied some of the problems in your life and even just exposed you to people that were maybe just not very good influences on you at that time? Like,
absolutely. The feeling that winning Hell's Kitchen gave me and having all that money and stuff definitely gave it. I did not know how to process those feelings. I really didn't. Not that it ever got to my head, but I had no guidance. I didn't have I just needed a mentor. I really needed some like advice and just how to deal with all of this. So, like I said, I think living with all the shame really influenced my decisions on how I acted, and just wanting to make up for it now. I think it's.
So how, just saying that, you mentioned a mentor, how important is it to even to seek out a mentor, just have someone that you can go to in life to kind of guide you through certain decisions?
Oh man, especially as a chef, and especially coming off of something like Hell's Kitchen, we don't know how to handle or manage anything whatsoever, and being on Hell's Kitchen, having been on that, it was so true. You start getting to go to more parties, the people you like, drugs become available. Like my doctors, I'm no joke, like I was able to get away with murder with my doctors because I was on Hell's Kitchen and I was a patient of theirs.
Yeah.
Like, out of my medication, I don't know, 13 days early. Oh, no problem, Michael. Here, we'll just get you the script of this medication so your insurance won't know. And it's just like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm in trouble now. So, yeah, there's always going to be like demons and devils out there that are going to try to sabotage your life. And when you win like something Hell's Kitchen, I guess I don't think you pay attention to that stuff the same as I would now. Now I'm obviously, a little bit wiser.
Yeah. So do you think when these people win Hell's Kitchen, they should maybe have someone like Gordon or someone that can really just kind of guide them along that process of having all this money, having all this status that they do at that time?
Yeah, how to not waste
just
it.
To kind of just not waste it. And even a lot of contestants, they leave with so much status, they don't know what to do with it. And they already come on the show, like many of us, we have a lot of issues in our lives that we haven't really dealt with, or even have someone to kind of just walk us through in our own mind how to deal with certain things. So we have status, we have money, and then it just really capitalizes and multiplies the issues we already have.
Because having
we don't
money,
end up being successful, Yeah,
having money really like brings out all the worst aspects of you. Because you start to have all this time, and like there's something about the honesty of the struggle of like having to go to work on time, kick butt at work, get your paycheck. There's just something honest about that struggle, And when you're doing that struggle and you're making good money, that's one thing. But like having the kind of profession we are, and then all of a sudden coming into a bunch of money where you're stopping to work, now you're like, oh, what business am I going to open with this money? Or like, you forget about the formula that got you there, and that's working hard, going to work, doing what you're supposed to do at work, go home, go to bed, wake up, and do the next thing the next day. There's absolutely no structure or guidance. Like I had made so many poor decisions, wasted so much money. It was life changing.
Yeah,
Definitely, it was life changing.
Alrighty. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. So we have someone called Kenti Baldovino. It says, I really admire your way of cooking, Mr. Michael. When I was watching the season 1 of Hell's Kitchen, I was captivated by it. I'm one of your #1 fans. What do you got to say to that? It's this guy right here.
Right. I really, I appreciate that. I would love people that they love. I get that a lot about they think I'm a great chef. They love my cooking, and it's what really pushes me. I mean, really, ultimately, my goal with having any kind of restaurant or any kind of food outlet at this point is to be able to have people be like, oh, I love Hell's Kitchen. Where can I come get your food? And I can be like, boom, here you go. My food just be right here. Come, I'm gonna take care of you. I mean, that's the connection that I'm really hoping to foster out of any of this. Is actually getting to be able to have people come and like
cook for the fans of the show.
Yeah, man, and that's where it's at.
So we have one that says by Tiffany R. Man, addiction is a nightmare. I'm glad he's still alive and passionate about life. I hope he is successful and bounces back. His full disclosure comment seems to suggest that he is not completely sober of everything. That's a dangerous game for addicts. Either way, I wish him the best. So you kind of touched on
Yeah, exactly. That's what we were talking about earlier, is that, but I just, I wish that earlier on people could have told me that, hey, there's more than one way to get sober.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, our goal is to not be wiped out on drugs. I mean, when you're in that situation, absolutely. And so, and it is a dangerous game for someone to, you can switch your addictions really fast. I mean, I really can't stress the amount that everybody has to find their own way and their own path to their sobriety. There's more than one path to that point.
So we have another comment by AM0E. I don't know how to say that. It says, came here after watching the first season. I have to say that I honestly didn't like Michael much during the show, although he was always fascinating. I was rooting for Ralph to win, but here he comes across as a really lovely and wise individual. I often think that the life of a restaurant chef is too demanding. There should be a way of producing food for profit that doesn't cause people to burn out so much.
I totally agree. What a great comment, for sure. Absolutely. I was always rooting for Ralph myself too, so I think that's cool. I like Ralph, man. He was awesome.
I would love to get in contact with him.
Yeah, so I mean, part of burning out, that's the other thing about chefs, is that we do burn out, and then out of those ashes we rise. Either you burn out and you're like, fuck this profession, I'm going into real estate or owning a parking lot because I want to make some real money, you know what I mean? But then some of us, you know, you get to that burnout or blow up stage and you're all ash, and then all of a sudden, whoosh, like you're the phoenix and you're reborn, and like all these mistakes and miserals that you went through, you're like, oh, that's what I learned, oh, now I know some things, now I know what I'm doing, I can do this.
It's like Gordon Ramsay's like the epiphany of that, like top dog in that area. So we have another one, Domingo Gonzalez. So again, we have a comment from Domingo Gonzalez. It says, dude, this guy is so awesome. I would love to see him working with Chef Ramsay in a restaurant. Would you like to work with Chef Ramsay in a restaurant?
I would actually, I would like to, just to like, you know, but I don't know if I could do it full time or not at this point. Seriously. Because you know what, this is a great comment. I would love to work for Gordon Ramsay in a restaurant, but that guy is so busy, I would just be working at one of his restaurants.
Yeah, one of his restaurants.
Right. If I would be like working and learning from Gordon, I'd be washing dishes in a heartbeat. It was like, so, you know.
When was it, have you ever been called by Fox to Hell's Kitchen again, or?
No.
Not in a long time?
No, I've never been contacted by Hell's Kitchen. It's one of the reasons why I know that I'm not like, you know, on the good list.
Yeah.
I'm on the bad boy list, I think. Definitely.
Do you have any connections with any like producers or anything like that, or?
Nobody.
Nothing?
No. I mean, Jessica, Ralph, I mean, I love all them. I just had never talked to them. You know, they're great people, great contestants, they're great friends. I just, you know.
Ralph ended up opening, I think, 3 restaurants.
Yeah, Ralph had like great pedigree in his family. I believe they came from like his restaurant. They all own restaurants. Like Ralph definitely had the great hustle, great game. He knew what he was doing.
So we had a comment earlier. So it's one of the first comments I ever got in the video. It says, from Not So Silent Majority, well, my son and I were rooting for him to win from the beginning, rooting for Michael. And seeing him now made me wonder if the runner-up, Ralph, would have won. Would things have been better for Michael and Ralph? I really meant that. Maybe Michael winning was a bad thing immediately at the time. I don't know. Whatever happened to Ralph, but he was my second favorite contestant on the show. And if he had won, would he have been a famous household name today and a big-time chef like Gordon Ramsay? I'm going to look into some of that. Good luck, Michael Wray. Don't give up, brother. You're obviously still passionate about cooking. What do you got to say about that?
That's an interesting concept. You know,
it's a concept that I even thought about. Like, would Ralph have been a household name?
Maybe.
You
definitely
we'll never know.
You never know.
Got a cool comment by William Michalowski Jr. Said, Michael Wray, keep your head up. God will provide. Trust me.
Thanks, William.
I think he was a radio show, and I might connect Michael with him. I know we talked after he commented that on Facebook, so we'll see. I'll have to talk to him again. Let's see. Chris Castro says he's great. We had one person comment. I gotta find that one. It's from a guy called Alex Biso. It's a very negative comment, but I'll read the main one. This is I think I read Tiffany R's.
Ooh, I like this one. He aged faster than Gordon Ramsay. I don't know. I think it's Ray. I think we're pretty much tied on that one.
You're tied with his deep veins.
Yeah, yeah. We both definitely look better on TV than we did in person. Though I don't know. He kicked the crap out of me, though. Gordon Ramsay's huge, man. He's badass.
How tall is he, do you think?
He's definitely 6'3" or 6'4", you know.
We don't think about how tall Gordon Ramsay is, but he's actually he was a soccer player. So L River says, so sad, much went down for Michael Wray. Honestly, this interviewer seems out of his depth, talking about such deep issues. I really hope everything goes well for Michael here on out.
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to say, put in my 2 cents about Miles here. Like, you know, there are some comments about him not being the best interviewer, you know. But this is my first interview. This is like we're in this together. We might just be starting off, but Miles has reached out to me. He asks me great questions. He has great follow-up questions, and so I am so grateful for Miles for putting me out here. I mean, he's the reason why I'm sitting here in front of the camera and reading questions and trying to interact with people. He's the first one to believe in me, so I believe in him, and I think he's a great interviewer myself.
Thank you. I'll actually tell you a quick story about how I got this idea to start. I have a goal to interview 100 Hell's Kitchen contestants. So I watched Hell's Kitchen for like 8 months ago, a year ago, and I've been watching it since. I've watched about 15 of the 17 seasons. I have 2 left. But I was thinking about all these contestants never being followed up on over the years, and I'm like, what if I was someone that can interview these people and kind of give up-to-date information? Because I'll see on like Reddit and different websites, people are looking for them. So I contacted a couple contestants. They're all like rejecting me and not paying any attention to me. And I found an Instagram, Skull and Cleavers 13, which is Michael's Instagram. Had I think it was like 70 followers. Didn't really have much of a following. And all through Instagram we talked, we exchanged numbers, but we still just talked only through Instagram. And I told Michael, hey, I will help you set up some of your social media, give you some tips, because I do freelance social media marketing. That's something I'm trying to build up just through all my connections with the chefs, because I want to focus in the restaurant industry. So Michael ends up chatting with me. Like 3 weeks later, he gets back to me. We start chatting over Instagram. He ends up getting a hotel next to my house, and this is all through Instagram. So like, I thought I was being catfished, but I'm still going with it. I'm like, you know what? I hope this person isn't a fake person with a fake account with like one picture of Michael.
Surprise!
And then I didn't know it was a real thing till he showed up at my door. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is legit, and I'm scared because I'm with someone that won Hell's Kitchen, and I'm like, a part of me is like, I have a business mindset. A part of me is like, I want to support Michael and kind of all that fame that he kind of feels like he wasted in a sense. I want to just grab that and just use that fame and status as being the first original character and winner of Hell's Kitchen. And at the same time, I'm like a super huge fan of like the show and it just everything about it. I want to know all the inside details and the production, all that stuff. So yeah, I thought I was being catfished. I remember pacing around my house like 30 minutes before I got to my house, like telling my wife like, I've never even spoken to him on the phone. I've only texted his real number like once. Like, I don't even know if this is a real person. And she's like, you didn't talk to him at least to make sure it was a real person? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I just went with everything. So it ended up working out great because he was a real person. So that's my little story. So now I have 3 interviews. This is my 4th interview with Michael again. So I have other chefs lined up that ever since I talked to Michael, now they want to talk to me, but they rejected me before and didn't want to talk to me.
Aww.
So Michael was the first person to say yes, and he's a person that taught me that's never wrong just to ask for something.
Never hurts.
Yeah, it never hurts to ask. So I'm very like shy and I don't like asking because I hate rejection. So this is a cool experience I've had with Michael just to teach me it's never wrong to ask. But yeah, less about me. So Sonia Wyke says, I loved watching this. The end is so true. I woke up to a kitchen full of delicious Michael prepped, full of love food with what I had in my kitchen years ago. Hey Michael, come to Sasha's birthday party and cook something for us.
Oh, I love you, Sonia.
Yeah.
Sonia's cool.
Another one, Steve Montagna says, very lame interviewer. And then another guy who commented earlier said that I don't agree with Steven. I think you're an awesome guy. Keep up the good work. Felix Choi says Michael was head and shoulders above the Diego Greaseball Ralph.
Ooh.
Ew, that kind of
Thanks,
hurts.
Felix.
Vish 1225 says, what an inspirational bloke. He makes me want to conquer the world, punch an elephant and stuff.
I love that. Especially the punching the elephant part.
Yep.
That's how I feel sometimes.
So another one says, I love Gordon Ramsay. Which I'm like, come on, you gotta show Michael some love.
Well, like this one, I hope he changed the haircut. He is. I'm getting rid of my mohawk.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna.
That's a question I got. Are you gonna keep your haircut as for your looks, or are you gonna?
No.
You gonna change it?
Yeah. It's
Are you ever gonna go back to that spiky hair look that you used to have, or?
No, you can't. I'm starting to lose my hair. You can't be losing your hair and rocking a mohawk.
So there's one that I wanted to touch on. Refresh the page. That first interview I did was really fun. I had a good time. I can't find it, but there's someone that was going crazy saying that he didn't like Michael at all and that women's chefs are the best. But he was just totally hating, so I don't know. I can't find a comment, but it doesn't really matter. It's no big deal. But alright. I'm trying to think of anything else. So we know he's changing his haircut. Got questions here. I think we answered all of them. Another question. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food to eat or to cook?
Eat.
Some of my favorite things to eat is bagels and cream cheese,
Oh wow.
duck confit. I don't really like a lot of food. I love cooking French food, I'll tell you that.
Okay. So what's your favorite dish to cook?
I think one of my favorite traditional French dishes to make is the cassoulet dish. It's like
What's that?
sort of like a I don't know how to explain it. It's sort of like, should we do that again?
No, it's okay.
Okay, it's sort of like a casserole dish with duck
Okay.
confit, sausages, sweet potatoes, like a pork sausage, like pieces of beef, I believe. Really good broth. I don't know. You bake it. It's,
Alright, so he's got to make that for me. We're going to make sure he does that.
Oh yeah, cassoulet. I'm at the wedding.
One thing that's cool that came out of this is Michael actually invited me and my wife to his wedding. So that's super amazing.
We'll post. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So what's the best part about being on the show?
The best part about being at Hell's Kitchen was just the exposure to people, getting the opportunity to learn who I am and hopefully root for me. Hopefully root for me again.
What was your lowest point of being on the show? If there was one.
My lowest points of being on the show were like, I think hiding in the stalls, like taking my pain medication and like,
okay, yeah.
you know, like just kind of living a double life, presenting myself as this badass chef and at the same time, you know, being really weak at the other aspects of my life. I think it's kind of a shameful way to live.
So because the producers have to know everything about you, how did they deal with you having, because Michael wasn't an addict or anything yet, he was just like kind of teeter-tottering on that. How did they kind of help you through that while just being on the show?
Well, you know, I went in with medication, so I went in with scripts from doctors, so and I ran out of my script, you know, and they were able to go get my refill for me, and like they're really like, oh, the other thing is like I was allowed no alcohol in Hell's Kitchen. Anything I drank was
Cider.
was all cider, apple juice, that kind of stuff, grape juice.
Oh, you wouldn't really think that because everyone seems to be like they're
Drinking
on the show. When did you first start cooking?
I first started cooking professionally. I started washing dishes when I was 16. So, you know, washing dishes, started prep cooking. I always enjoyed cooking, you know, like we do as kids and all that. But it was my first day as a dishwasher. At the end of my shift, having being so tired and being handed a beer and a joint, and being like, hey, go outside, smoke this, drink this, come back, and we'll get out of here. And like, I remember being taken care of by my chef and just like, you know, it's the best job in the whole wide world. And then you get to learn how to cook and starting to create and seeing how like it started being like, oh wait, I'm an artist, this is art. Like being able to start to see the food that way, it was this amazing progression. Like, you know, started off washing dishes though, we have to pay our dues.
Do you have any conspiracy theories about Hell's Kitchen?
No, I don't.
No?
I haven't even heard of any. Are there?
There are some, but can't talk about them.
The government's in
I don't want to mess up anyone's non-disclosure contracts. Okay, so we talked about the casting process. What's your biggest fear? This is general.
My biggest fear is never being given the opportunity to start my own business, to do things my own way.
Okay.
You know, I have been working my ass off for other people now for the most part of my career, you know, and, you know, if I don't get this opportunity, you know, it's going to be really sad for me.
Yeah.
You know, like I really want to prove that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Not even to the world, but to myself. Like I have all these ideas. I think I know all this stuff. It's like I want to be able to put all my theories into action.
This is something we've already touched on.
Sorry.
Well, what has held you back from succeeding in life, in career, in general?
You know, really my drug use has always been the thing that holds me back. You know, we keep going back to that, but like that and being shy has always like sort of prevented me from really going after things. You know, like now my attitude has changed. Now I don't let anything pass me by. I'm gonna grab it all. But for a long time I was really passive and like it hurt me as a chef. That was one thing that I really lacked. And when I put myself next to Gordon, that really came through of how much I lacked was just how not aggressive he is, but just assertive and able to. I mean, it takes a real skill to be able to communicate to one of your employees and tell them that, like, hey, listen, this isn't right. I need you to do it this way.
So more like a leadership.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a great way to put it. You know, he's really inspired me how to be a better leader. You know, and as chefs, I mean, ultimately that's what we are. We are leaders in the kitchen. You know, we're aspiring our crew to kick ass. When someone goes down, we step in, fill in the gap. You know, make sure the night service goes well. We're definitely leaders.
What is your passion?
Right now, I don't know. I'd have to say like one of my biggest passions and hobby is my cars. Is I have a Subaru WRX, and you know I love driving my car, and I really like to drive it on the dirt and the snow, and you know it's one of my big stress reliefs is like getting off work and driving fast. I like it a lot.
So this is something that we talked about earlier. How old were you when you got your first kiss?
17 years old before I even got my first kiss. You know, I am a painfully shy person. I admit that, you know.
Because when you see Michael, you see tattoos and all that stuff, you would think that he might have been like super crazy and all that stuff, but he's actually really shy.
Definitely not a player, yeah. I don't even know anybody would even want to watch me on this shit. I mean, on any of this. It befuddles me, you know. Like, I don't think I'm not that great to look at. I'm not that smart. I'm not that handsome. I mean, I cook well, so you know that's my passion.
That like brings you up to like 10.
Yes.
Right there. All the good cooking.
The rest of me is just mundane.
Let's talk about your parents. How did your parents inspire you as a kid?
Just my father was one of the hardest working men that I've ever met. Like his dedication to running his own business inspired me. Since my dad owned his own restaurant, I wish it was a restaurant, he owned his own business, anytime I got suspended or in trouble, I had to go work for my dad. Every summer from when I was 8 or 9 years old was spent working for my father. Not like child labor or nothing like that, like we were just running around, but we were expected to have like duties at his work, and like, ever since then they instilled this work ethic in me that has been like the greatest gift in the world, and I don't know how to instill it into my son. Like, I can't even get him to like pick up his dishes after he eats, and so I don't know how parents do it.
How about your mom? How did she impact you growing up?
My mom, she's more so than anything. My mom has helped me. She's been the one. Her and Shar have been the one people that have got me sober and have kept me there. Like, her understanding and acceptance of what it's like to be an addict and unconditional love has kept me alive also. I owe everything to my mom that way. Like, she's always believed in me, never made me feel bad for anything, and has always been there to support me. If I have a problem, my mom can help me solve it, and I just hope I can be like that for my kids too, pass what my parents did for me, because I honestly have probably the most amazing parents in the world. I'm so fortunate.
Awesome. So as far as like, this is another question I have. Do you find it hard to take responsibility for your actions, or do you see yourself trying to blame others for the things that you've done or the troubles that you've had in life?
No, man, I take full responsibility for all my actions. Absolutely. Anybody who's been addicted to drugs, you know you've done lots of bad things to people. You know, anytime you're like put in a situation where you actually put this drug thing in front of anybody else's feelings, like you're gonna do some damaging stuff to people. So, you know, there's a lot of regret for that stuff, but you know, you make amends to that. You need to come to terms with the fact that, hey, I need to turn my life around, and people are always willing to reach out and to forgive if they see that you're working hard and making changes in your life, you know. So I've found that, you know, I've done awful things to people, but anybody that I've done something awful to, I've reached out to, and, you know, we've seemed to be able to come to terms and amends on it, you know, just because I've changed my life and changed my ways.
It's awesome. Well, I'm out of questions. Do you have any other comments you'd like to make to your fans that are gonna
No,
watch
but
this?
please keep making these comments. You know, I'd love to make another video if there's any other questions or anything I can you know, answer to you guys. Please look me up on Instagram, SkullandCleavers13. Also look for my GoFundMe out there. You know, I hate asking anybody for anything ever. I don't think that I deserve anything more than anybody else, you know. But I would love another chance to, you know, I would love another chance to be able to put all my cooking skills out on there for the world to come and taste. You know, I want another chance to prove that, you know, I got what it takes.
Another thing, Michael right now lives in San Diego. If you do want Michael to cook for you and you live in the area, he'd be more than willing to come.
Absolutely. If you guys are
Cook
looking
you a
for a
meal.
private chef, if you need anybody, if you want to like have any kind of party, give me a call. I'm available, especially to any kind of fans in any kind of job or work capacity. Get a hold of me or get a hold of Miles here, and gladly let's talk and let's make a plan. Let's have a party. I'd love to cook for you.
So this will conclude our second interview. I know there'll be more questions, so please ask. Me and Michael, as long as these videos are doing amazingly well, we're gonna keep putting out content for you guys. I would love to.
We're gonna make something a little bit more entertaining,
Yeah.
and we'll have something cool if you guys want. Like honestly, this is all just kind of like make a little thing, see if people like it. You know, we had some positive response, so you know, we'll see how it goes this time.
If even we can do a cooking lesson, like a
Yeah, if anybody
edited
wants to know,
cooking
yeah,
lesson.
absolutely. If anybody has any, like, if you guys want me to show you guys how to make anything, cook anything, let me know, and I'd love to put together a little clip for you guys and show you how to do anything. Risotto, Wellington, you know.
I would like to learn how to make risotto. I don't.
Oh, I have the
Yeah,
best,
but-
easy. I'd love to do a lesson on the risotto if anybody's interested. You know, just let us know in the comments section.
Right. Well, let's shake hands.
We'll see how your editing works
Yeah,
out.
we'll see how my editing works out. I'm having a good time with Michael. I feel like I've grown to just have just a love for him, and I really want to see him do well.
I want to do well.
Yeah, I'm not
People
doing.
out here, you know, I want to do well for everybody that's on here. I really do. I want to succeed. I want to be the underdog. I want to be, you know, I want to fight back, and I want to be a success story. You know, a big part of the business that I'm opening now is we're going to do any kind of outreach and what we can do for any of the opiate epidemic. You know, right from the get-go, I definitely want to have some sort of active role in like preventing people from doing drugs, preventing chefs especially from getting hooked on drugs, and the ones that are, I would love to help anybody get off of drugs. You know, like if any of you guys are struggling and you need to reach out to me personally, please do. I'd love to hear your story, relate my story to you. You know, it's not weird. You know, like especially with addiction, I am here for you. I mean, this thing has almost destroyed my life. I don't have any more handle on it than anybody else does. All I have is my story and my advice, but I'm more than willing to share with anybody that has any problem and wants to reach out. I'm here for it.
So I would love if you see this video, direct message Michael, let him know you saw it, give him a follow. I believe your email and phone number are even on your Instagram as well.
No, I think I took them off.
Took them off? Okay.
Because I don't have any of that
So,
stuff anymore.
direct message Michael and get a
Do.
hold. Yeah.
Please do.
Show some love. So,
Show right back.
alright. This will conclude once and for all our second interview. Thank you for watching. And I hope you look out for my next upcoming video with I don't know who yet. I have a lot of chefs in line for interviews and I have a lot of editing to do. So we'll see what the next one holds. So subscribe to me, go follow Michael, and just support what we're doing
The
together.
subscribe button.
Yeah, I'm gonna have one up maybe at one of these corners. It'll be up there. So, all right, thank you so much for watching.